Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the It Girl Mindset. In today's episode, we're diving into how to find your purpose, okay? Because I think this is something that a lot of people have a craving towards, right? They know that they're meant for big things. They know that they want to be in alignment with their purpose, but they really struggle to find it. Or if you're kind of like I was, where I felt like when I felt lost in my purpose, I was just gripping to the thing that I either knew wasn't actually meant for me, or I was just throwing things against a wall, trying, failing, and just kind of feeling like I was starting over all the time because I felt this feeling of stuckness. So in today's episode, we're going to cover what deep work you should really do if you're feeling stuck and don't know how to find your purpose. We're also chatting about how to truly figure out who you are, because this is something I was so confused on for a really big part of my life. I didn't genuinely know who I was, and in order to find your purpose, it's so important to figure out who you really are and what you want, and figure out who you are is that first step. We're also diving into your nervous system and how it directly affects your intuition, which directly affects finding your purpose. And lastly, how to actually take the steps to fully begin reaching your authentic full potential. So let's get into it. Welcome to the It Girl Mindset, where I help you step into the next level version of yourself by mastering your mindset, manifesting your deepest desires, and connecting deeply with your body. It's about becoming the most authentic, radiant, unapologetic, and unbothered version of yourself. Together, we're going to chat about how to unlock your true potential and create a life that feels as good as it looks. If you're ready to become the healthiest, hottest, and most abundant version of yourself, you're in the perfect place. Let's get into it. Super quickly, before we get into the meat of the episode, I wanted to quickly touch on, if you're not already following me on Instagram, please go do that now. It's just at Ashley Robuts, my name. The link is also down below. What I'm going to start doing is either 1 to 2 times per month, I'm going to be starting a segment called Ask Ash Anything. So at the end of episodes, again, either once or twice a month, I'm going to be answering all of your guys' questions. This could be mindset, body, discipline, personal questions, identity shifts, entrepreneurship, literally everything and anything, okay? You do have to be following me on Instagram though, so make sure you are following me so you can go ahead and see that question box every single Monday, okay? I love answering your guys' questions. It's seriously so fun to me, so please go follow me over there and I will get all of your questions answered, okay, my love? In terms of your purpose, right, like I said, you have to really understand who you are. And this was really hard for me because I know you guys maybe know this, or if you're new here, I tried everything to fix something on the inside. I thought that, being a 49er cheerleader would make me feel differently about myself. I thought just being an entrepreneur, I thought money, I thought, like finding my soulmate, like I thought all of these things would fix me internally. And I learned over and over again that really isn't the case. You have to truly find meaning in yourself, and that comes from knowing who you are. And I remember this so specifically. I was working with a past mentor, and she asked me, because I wanted to launch a new offer. I was really just shifting away from being a health and fitness coach into something a little bit more deeper, more mindset focused. And she's like, okay, cool. Like, tell me about yourself. Like, who are you? And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, what quirks do you have? Like, what are some things that make you uniquely you? And I just remember feeling so embarrassed because I was like, wait, I actually don't know. Like, I don't know weird quirks about me. I don't know what my likes and dislikes are. I don't know what hobbies I like. I don't know what it's like to spend time alone because I never did that. Like, I was so hyper focused on my goals. All I cared about was becoming a successful business owner. I didn't care about having fun. I didn't care about anything. All I wanted to do was be successful financially and in my career. And because that's all I focused on, I literally didn't know who I was. And, when it came to becoming a health and fitness coach, I was really passionate about that because I had gone through a really big transformation. I lost 30 pounds, right? Like I saw a big physical transformation and I took that very seriously. So for me, that felt like an easy next step. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to help be a health and fitness coach. But I was really lost in the depths of darkness. And I know that sounds maybe depressing, but like I'm a Scorpio. I death and rebirth is kind of my brand and who I am. Like, I reinvent myself all the time. And during this phase when I was really stuck in this unknown, I wanted to find my purpose and find the business that made me feel alive again, like I did when I first started health and fitness coaching. But I didn't know what that was, which is why she asked me that question. She was like, what makes you you? And I was just like, I literally don't know. I don't know who I am without this entrepreneurship label. Or before that, I was a professional dancer, or, before that I was, XYZ. Like, I didn't know how to label myself. So I was very confused. And even before, it was like I was basing off what I thought my purpose was based on what I was before. I was like, okay, health and fitness coach, like I have to be, a mindset coach around health and fitness, right? Like I was latching onto that. And because I was latching onto the past and latching onto this past identity for me, it was really confusing because I just had this lack of clarity on where I truly wanted to go. And so that's why I wanted to talk about this in depth, because I know how confusing it can be and how hard it can be to not feel fulfilled and feel like you're living in your purpose, even if stuff on the outside looks like you've got your shit together and everything's moving, right? Like, I remember so many times when it looked like my life was perfect on paper. Like, I had the business, the boyfriend, right? Like, I just bought a house. Like, everything on paper looked perfect, but I was so empty on the inside. It's because I was not actually in alignment with my true purpose. And that can be really challenging and lonely and hard, because people could be like, what do you possibly have to be upset about? Like, you have all the things you said you ever wanted. Why aren't you happy? Right? And it really comes down to truly living in your purpose, which is why, again, I really feel strongly about this and I want to talk about this. Okay, so number one, you have to sit with the not knowing. And I know that that is the most challenging thing, especially if you are a goal-oriented person like me, because a big part of my purpose is my career, right? Like, that's just who I am. And a career is a big part of your life. What you're working on day to day takes up a big chunk of your life, which is why for me, it has to be in alignment with my purpose, or else I struggle. I really struggle to do anything. I'm the most motivated person when it comes to my own purpose and goals, but if it doesn't have anything to do with it, I struggle really hard, which is why the corporate world was so freaking hard for me. But if you're in this place where you're like, I have no idea what my purpose is, you have to be able to sit with that for the time being, right? Like, truly just being okay in your life, being like, okay, I don't know what my purpose is. This feels really uncomfortable, but I'm just going to allow myself to sit with this. And I also think too, I think I talked about this in a recent podcast episode, where in order to be uncomfortable and sit with the not knowing, you have to be able to be happy in your life. Because if you are feeling unalignment with your purpose, but your life is boring or you hate it or whatever day to day, you're going to have a really hard time being okay sitting in that uncomfortableness. And again, that's why it was really hard for me, is because I tied my purpose and my worth to my career. And because I felt so lost on that side of things, it was like, I was so uncomfortable, and I also wasn't enjoying my life, because I felt like my only thing that I really wanted in life was to succeed at my career and live in my purpose. And when I was not doing that, I was like scrambling. I was literally like, okay, I need to invest in this mentor. I need to launch this offer and try this. Oh my God, it's not working. Okay, on to the next thing. And like, I just was scrambling. And again, I was like taking action. And I always think about this hamster wheel of like, I'm literally running on a hamster wheel. I'm trying everything. I'm doing. And I wasn't even pausing for a second to be like, what do I actually want? What do I actually want? Not what is this person doing or this other person doing or this coach doing? It's like, who am I and what do I really want? And not until the last like year, I really allowed myself to just sit with it. And I'm not saying it's going to take a year for you, but it took a long time for me to really truly sit with myself and be okay in the unknown, and learning to enjoy my life and do the deep inner healing work before trying to jump into launching something or, whatever it may be. It's like, I just had to sit with it for a long time to truly figure out. And I think we can get so confused because we look at other people's timelines, right? It's like, I see this one girl who's a coach and she just knew exactly what she wanted to do and she went for it, and now her business has just been growing ever since. And that was never the case for me. I have had so many ups and downs, and again, I've had to do a lot of deep work to actually figure out who I am and what I want. And sometimes people don't need as much time or inner work to figure that out. And I am just one of those people that did, apparently. So again, the first thing is to just sit with the unknown. Number 2 is to regulate your nervous system so you can sit in stillness and connect with your guides, higher power, God, whatever it is that you believe in. Your intuition pretty much turns off when you are dysregulated. If you're rushing from thing to thing, you don't have any brain capacity to sit and ask, your guides or the universe, whatever you believe in, to show you the way. This isn't like how to regulate your nervous system episode. I have a lot of episodes where I talk about it, but in order to truly sit with yourself and your own thoughts, you cannot be dysregulated. Your intuition isn't going to work if you're dysregulated. Okay. And dysregulation can look like rushing from thing to thing, right? Like fight or flight, I'm sure you guys have heard of, or rest and digest. When you are in fight or flight, you are not going to be sitting still long enough for intuitive pings to come through. And of course, no surprise, during that phase where I was like jumping from thing to thing and launching and being so confused on what I was supposed to do and what my purpose was, I was so dysregulated. I didn't even know what the nervous system was. I didn't know what nervous system regulation was. But what my intuition did guide me to is a nervous system regulation course. I truly wasn't able to sit in stillness until I regulated my nervous system. So when you regulate your nervous system, you will feel, it's almost like regulation kind of feels like a cozy blanket. You just feel at peace. You can sit and drink your cup of coffee without needing to have a podcast on or reading a book or whatever. Like you can just sit and be with yourself. I'm not someone where this comes naturally to me. I'm not someone who just is naturally a calm person and I can just sit and be with myself. No. I'm one of those people that runs highly anxious and can be a very big overthinker, which is why regulating my nervous system changed my life so much. But now, even for me, I can sit 10, 20, 30 minutes with some frequency on and just meditate and see what comes to my brain. For me, meditation is not thinking about anything. For me, meditation is sitting in stillness and allowing answers to come to mind. For me, I'm very visual, so images come in my brain a lot. And then I also am auditory, so I hear my higher self speaking to me. But I also, the visual and the auditory is 2 really big ones that come through for me when I'm meditating. I'm not thinking about nothing, but if I start to spiral or overthink about something, I can like calmly bring myself back into the present moment, into my body. And then again, I let the intuitive pings come. Okay. I want to say too, in terms of like connecting with your spirit guides or a higher power, whatever it may be, this is not something that also, again, came naturally. I used to be really scared, but I built up this courage. I set really strong energetic boundaries. I've, Caroline's my psychic. I've worked with her and she's really helped me to, again, set those energetic boundaries so I'm not afraid. So you don't have to jump in and be like, okay, guides, come here, right? Like what you can do is let that happen naturally over time and just connect with your future self. That's something that I did for a really long time is I didn't connect with a higher power, whatever. Maybe I just connected with my spirit guides or maybe the universe, whatever it is, whatever feels good to you, okay? There's not a right or wrong way to do it. But again, to be able to connect with a higher power, your future self, whatever it may be, you have to allow yourself to, again, be calm and present and in the moment. Number 3 is to start following your curiosity and living your life, spending time alone, finding things that you love. Maybe that's, for me, it was pole dancing, golf, reading, and everything in between. But I truly believe that your inner self, your future self, is always going to be leading you towards your curiosity. If there's something that you read or maybe something that I speak about where you're like, oh my gosh, this is so interesting to me, start following those intuitive pings. Think of that curiosity as an intuitive ping. Even for me right now, I'm going deep into human design and astrology. I'm obsessed with it. It's really helping me to understand myself more. Like, even as an example, I am a Scorpio. It's funny because like I feel like when people think about Scorpios, they're like, ooh, she's like gothic and black hair and like black eyeliner. And I know from the outside, like I'm very bubbly and, bright and whatever it may be, but I have so much depth to me. Like I have so much Scorpio in my chart, and it's helping me understand myself so much more, because I kind of used to fight that depth. I'm like, no, like I'm this bubbly person. I should be being happy and positive and, whatnot. But like, no, like I want to know your deep, dark secrets. I want to know what sets your soul on fire. I want to know why you are the way that you are. Surface level conversations are honestly so challenging for me. It burns me out. But I also kind of have this thing where people just tell me their secrets. And I honestly have always loved that, like, because I just feel honored that I'm someone who people trust with that. And I can be a really good secret keeper. And I think it's because I've gone to the depths of my own soul. There is nothing that you can tell me that I probably haven't already experienced in a dark way. Like I have gone to hell and back, if I'm being honest. Like I have lived through some really deep, dark things. Wow, this is such a tangent, but again, I'm truly learning about who I am, which is why following your curiosity and me diving into human design and astrology and all of this stuff is like lighting my soul on fire right now. Like I am obsessed with it. It's been really, really helpful for me to, again, especially if you are so confused on who you are and you don't know which direction to turn, look up your astrology. Look at your human design. It will tell you how to make decisions, how to, what type of person you are, what kind of energy you have. How do you know if you're in alignment or out of alignment? So for me, when I'm in alignment, I feel satisfaction. That is the feeling that I get when I'm in alignment. When I'm not living as my best self and I'm very out of alignment, frustration is the feeling. And that all comes from human design. Knowing that gives me so much knowledge, right? And so again, I'm not saying you need to go become a human design or astrology professional, right? But just look at these tools, look them up and see like what makes sense for you. Does this align? Does it not align, right? Like use your discernment, but follow your curiosity. If I talk about human design and you're like, ooh, I wonder what mine is. Like, I wonder how I make decisions. I wonder what feelings are when I'm in and out of alignment, right? Like follow that energy. That's what's going to lead you to finding your true purpose. Also too, on the, following your curiosity, you have to spend time alone. Right? If we're always with people constantly 24/7, you're scrolling social media. That's the other thing. Like if you're just every free second you have, you're scrolling on social media, how are you going to figure out what you enjoy, what you like, what hobby sounds fun? You're not, because you're just going to be locked into that easy dopamine where you're not even going to have the energy or motivation or drive to go do other things in the real world, because that dopamine, that reward cycle is getting so activated from just scrolling. I could literally go on a whole tangent about that, but I won't. But spend time alone, find things that you love, try things, right? Like I had no idea pole dancing was going to become one of my favorite things ever. I had no idea that I was going to start enjoying golf. Even when I was younger, I honestly, to this day, am so surprised that I started dance, because I was so shy and I went to try a hip hop class and I loved it, which my mom was like, honestly confused, because when I first started dance, I hated it. I did ballet and tap and I literally cried every single day. And I remember the tap teacher being like, you can either tap with us or you can sit down. And I sat down. I was like, no, I don't like this. This isn't fun. But again, follow your curiosity, try a pottery class. I feel like I always use that as an example because I genuinely want to try that. Like I feel like every single time I talk about finding your hobbies and whatnot, I'm always like, go to a pottery class, because I'm talking to myself, because I really want to do one. But there's just so many fun, cool things in the world, truly. I mean, the opportunities are endless. Go on a hike, right? Like go volunteer at an animal shelter, go do anything. There's so many possibilities and so many things that you can try. And in those moments when you're following your joy is one of the highest energetic frequencies. It's one of the highest, most magnetic. And when you're in those frequencies, whether you want to be a professional pottery person or, whatever it may be, when you're following that joy and in that energy of joy, other things are going to come to you. You're going to get those intuitive pings and those intuitive downloads that could maybe be something similar or something completely different, right? Like, you just have no idea. And when you follow your joy and your curiosity, it just allows you to let those intuitive pings come to you, right? Because if you're just sitting here like, okay, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? You're never gonna find it, okay? And I know from personal experience, because I've rattled my brain 1,000 times trying to figure out what my purpose was, and it didn't come until I let go and I allowed myself to just enjoy my life and let it come to me and follow my curiosity, right? Number 4 is to work on yourself and do the deep work. So I want to be very transparent. In the year that I was really trying to find myself, I guess you could say, I did the deep work. I invested in mentors, and I invested in that course to regulate my nervous system. I also did a shadow work course. I did a money mindset course. I was doing subconscious reprogramming. I was doing a lot of somatic healing, breath work, and everything in between. Like, I was doing the deep inner healing work to, again, allow myself to just become the best version of me. I wouldn't have found my purpose if I didn't do that deep inner work. You guys know, I love the deep stuff. I love the inner work, subconscious reprogramming, rewiring your mind, processing emotions. It's the most powerful thing you can do for yourself. It is the most powerful thing you can do for yourself, whether you're trying to find your purpose or not. Truly, truly doing the deep inner work. Again, subconscious reprogramming, regulating my nervous system, doing somatic work like feeling and processing my emotions. Those drastically changed my life in so many ways. So many ways. I know I sound like a broken record, but that work healed my soul. I was able to look at past versions of me, go to the depths of my soul that I was afraid to look at, go to the depths of past things that I have done that I regret, and I've been able to process those and move forward. I now know if I have big emotions, I know what to do with them. I don't have to take them out on my partner or my mom or, anyone. I can process them myself and be my best version for the people around me and also myself, right? Life becomes so much easier when you do that deep inner work. Truly, life just starts to flow. I don't even know how to say it any other way than that. Like, life just feels good when you do that deep work. And you know that if it's not feeling good, you have the tools to get back to feeling good, right? Because even for me, I've done all the deep work, I've done all the things. That doesn't mean I don't experience hard days and heavy emotions. I just know what to do with them now. I know that if I have a limiting belief, if there's something that I want that is not, either I'm not showing up for it in the way that I want to, and I don't have it, I know that I can rewire a limiting belief. If I have big emotions around something and I'm not really understanding why, I know how to process that emotion. I know that if I wake up and feel anxious, I know what to do with that, right? It's like doing all of this deep work allowed me to be the person I am today, which has now allowed me to find my purpose. And last but not least, number 5 is to take baby steps towards your future self. Again, you need to follow those intuitive pings. If you're following your curiosity and, having all these pings come to you, but you're not actually taking the steps towards becoming your future self, then you're probably going to continue to stay stuck. That's why the inner work is so powerful. But I always talk about this. We live in a physical world. You have to take the action in the physical world. And something that Caroline actually taught me, something that I have been doing, is I have an intuitive pings note on my phone. Because, there's so many things that's going on in life. Like, you have to have a place where you can write them down and come back to them, okay? You don't just have to remember everything and hope that you do it, right? Just write it down, put it in a to-do list, add it in your notes. It's going to make taking those baby steps so much easier because you know exactly what you need to do. So again, just to recap, you're going to sit with the unknown, as hard as it is. You're going to regulate your nervous system so you can actually sit in stillness and connect with your higher self, your future self, your guides, the universe, whatever feels good to you. Number 3, follow your curiosity, spend time alone, find things that you love, hobbies, whatever it may be. Number 4 is doing the deep work on yourself so you can become your best self on this journey. And lastly, take baby steps towards your future self. Okay, my loves, before we wrap up, I have another fun segment I want to introduce, which is After Hours with Ash. This is basically if I'm working through things, if I have life updates for you, I'm going to do them at the end of the podcast episodes. I'm going to do these as they come up, depending on what I feel called to share. I know when I listen to podcast episodes, I'm always like, give me the tea on your life, right? Like, I want to know what you're up to. It might be every episode, every once in a while, just going to intuitively let it happen. So speaking of intuitively letting it happen, so I had a call with my mentor last week, and you guys know I talk about this a lot where I'm so routine oriented. I have my lifetime blocked out, and I just told her I was feeling very like constricted. And again, learning about my human design and my astrology and numerology, I'm a life path 5 in numerology, which I'm just meant to have freedom. Like I'm meant to live a life full of freedom, and my calendar was almost like feeling constricted, suffocating, if that makes sense. And there are some people that need to time block. I'm just going to say this right now. If you're at the beginning of your journey and you are not necessarily, keeping up with the things that you need to do, time blocking can save your life. I've been doing it for, 8 years now. And now I'm really leaning into more of my intuition. And I have a to-do list and everything like that, but instead of time blocking every single little thing in my life, I obviously have like my work calls and, things in my calendar, but my mentor was kind of like, what if you just let go of the invisible chains you have? I'm like, oh, I can do that, like being a business owner, I'm like, wait, I can do that. So I am, not time blocking. I just have a to-do list in my notes app now, and I'm just getting things done based on my intuition, based on my energy, how things are feeling, rather than time blocking every little second of my life. And honestly, it's felt really good. I, again, still am learning to not put 1,000 things on my to-do list. What I'm trying to do is just do a big 3. So 3 big things, and then maybe have like admin tasks, like little things under 15 minutes. And then I have a list of what I need to get done this week, and then kind of like future to-do items. That way I can see what's actually top priority, because like I said, like even with intuitive pings, it's like I can't just remember things all the time. I don't have a memory like that. There's so many things going on. So I'm still using my resources wisely, but I'm just allowing the fluidity and the feminine energy to come through together, because I naturally default in my masculine energy. I'm like plan, structure. And yeah, I've just been feeling a little bit burnt out in that way. So I'm leaning a lot more into my feminine energy instead of having everything time blocked. So I'll keep you guys updated on how I'm liking that and if I'm going to keep doing that, but it's been feeling really good so far. It's literally been a week, but yeah, it's been feeling good. I'm really leaning into that more intuitive side, and again, learning more about my astrology. Your north and south node, basically your north node is what you're moving towards in this lifetime, and your south node is what you were in past lifetimes. And I believe my south node was Taurus or something like that, which is very like routine, safety. I think about like, I don't know, it feels like a 9-to-5 job where it's like structure, financial safety, security, stability. And then Scorpio is like completely opposite of that. So it's been this interesting push-pull, and it really makes sense why it's like there's some part of me that's like, I just want to be free and I want my intuition to just guide me, and then there's this other part of me that's like, no, we need structure, routine, like focus, goal oriented, right? Like, and I've proved to myself that I get things done. I get my shit done, period. I still meditated this morning. I still read. I still did breath work. I went to the gym, and I didn't need that to be in my calendar for me to actually show up and do it. Okay. And this depends on where you're at, right? Like, I'm not saying everyone should just do this, because some people do need more structure, especially at the beginning of your journey. But I've proved over and over and over again that I do the things I say I'm going to do. So I'm loosening up that structure just a little bit and leaning more into my intuition. Okay. Last thing I want to talk about is this mold update. Okay. So I told you guys in my last episode that I started going on some medication for my acne. And honestly, it's so much better. Like, it's clearing up so much. But the other thing I didn't tell you is, I think I like randomly mentioned this, where I went to a naturopath and I found mold in my body because of I did like a mold toxin test. And so I knew that, but we didn't know where it was. We were like kind of worried it would be in the walls and stuff like that. But come to find out, every single plant in my home had mold. As you can see, I don't have a plant here. The plant that was here is gone. Every single plant, and we had plants in every single room, and there was mold in it. I guess I just watered it too much. And, I've struggled with my acne for a very, very long time. And I'm not saying that's the only case, but it's the only reason I had acne. But it feels truly like I don't know how to explain it, but as soon as we moved all the plants outside, there was a complete energy shift in my house. I used to get so asthmatic every single evening. Again, we had a plant in our bedroom, and I haven't had to take my inhaler one time. Is that not insane? Also, the other crazy thing, the type of mold that it was, because we did a mold test and then we figured out it grows in plants, and then we looked at all of our plants and I was like, oh my God. So there's this one type of mold called penicillium, and that's how they make penicillin. They make penicillin from this specific type of mold. I'm allergic to penicillin. So this whole time I've been living with plants literally for the last 7 years. I've had some of these plants longer than I've had my dog. So I literally cried when I found this out, because I was like, I have been taking care of them for so long. And so I had my little cry moment, and then I was like, okay, fuck it. I want these things out of here. I can't believe I've been taking care of you and you've been killing me all along. I had my dramatic moment. But the mold growing on plants is something that I'm allergic to. Obviously, mold in general is bad, but the fact that they make penicillin and this is the one thing I'm allergic to, crazy. My mind was just blown. But yeah, I don't know. I've just felt this complete energetic shift in my house. And I feel, honestly, finally at home in this house. I don't know how to describe it. The energy just feels so different, and I'm just can actually sleep, and I'm not taking my inhaler all the time. It's crazy. Those are my little life updates. Just really, again, leaning more into my feminine energy, my intuition, and healing my skin. Those are my focus points right now. Again, if you are on your journey to finding your purpose, just trust that it will come when you least expect it. Truly do the deep work. Just focus on becoming the best version of yourself and follow your curiosity. I promise you it will come. Okay, my loves, don't forget to rate and review the show. Truly, it really helps the podcast grow more than you know, or leave a comment down below. I absolutely love hearing from you guys. It makes my day. So please comment below, share this with a friend who you feel like needs to hear this. But okay, my loves, thank you so much for watching or listening. I cannot wait to be in your ear or on your screen again next week. Love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next episode.